Hi, so today, just going to do a nice little warm up. These are some warm ups that I do every single day in order to make sure that my muscles are in tip top shape for playing guitar. So, between my fingers and my pick hand, this is all the stuff that I do, and we're going to actually run through the whole thing, okay? Um, just as if I were to do it, but I'll just explain to you what I'm doing as I do it. Now, just remember some of these things are going to be timed. Like some of these exercises are like a minute long. You don't want to rush through some of them, okay? Because rushing through some of them is not going to give you the benefits of the exercises, okay? Sometimes you have to take your time with them. So this first exercise we're going to do, this first warm-up, is definitely one of those. So this is a really good one. Make sure that you don't rush through this. Take the time that I'm giving you to do each one, okay? And let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our index finger. We're going to push down on the A string on the 7th fret. Okay, now if you have the multicolored strings like me, then it's the yellow string, 2nd or 7th fret. All right, so we're going to start there, and on the D string we're going to go 8th fret, so 7, 8. Now we're going to go to the G string, we're going to go to 9, so 7, 8, 9. And now with our pinky we're going to go on the B string to 10. Okay, so now we're in this position and we're going to hold it for a minute. We're going to actually hold this position. Now for some of you, this might be a very easy position to hold. This certainly is for me. It's not a very difficult one. But for some people, you might be feeling a little bit of a stretch, and that's all right. You want to feel a stretch. If you're feeling a stretch here, that's a good thing. If you're not, don't worry about it, because in a moment, we're going to stretch out the fingers a little bit more, okay? So we got about another 30 seconds of this. And just remember, this is, unless you're playing jazz or death metal or something, this is probably not a chord you're going to ever really run into. But one good thing is, while you're holding this down, you can actually spend this time practicing your sweeps if you feel like you need to practice them. If not, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but make sure that each note is being able to be rung out clearly. So now what we're going to do, we're going to drop this finger down to the 6th fret. So our index finger just dropped down from 7 to 6, okay? And just hold that there. Sounds kind of creepy, but that's all right. This is not about sound right now. This is just a pure exercise for your fret hand, okay? So if you're feeling some discomfort right now, that's a good thing. We want that. That's what we want. Think of this as like a yoga session for your guitar playing hands, okay? So we're just stretching this out. If you need to take a couple breaths, like, okay, go ahead and do that. All right, so now we're closing in on our minute mark, and what we're going to do, we're going to move the pinky up 1 fret. Okay, so now the pinky should be on the 11th fret. He's staying here on 6, okay? And it should be getting a bit more uncomfortable now. Like I said, you can, work on your sweep picking. Or you could just strum it. But you want to just ensure that each note is being played correctly. Otherwise, what's the point? If you can't hold them down correctly, two issues. One, maybe you're not just putting in enough effort. Two, maybe your hands are not used to this position yet. All right, so if you're not playing it correctly, don't worry about it. You do want it to get cleared up, but let the process of doing it actually be the thing that fixes it. Don't try to adjust your fingers every single time. So now we're going to bring these 2 fingers back. Okay, so we're 7 and 10 again. Okay, and now the 2 middle fingers are going to trade strings. So Now you have your index finger on 7, your ring finger on 9, your middle finger is now on 8, and your pinky is back to 10. Okay, so remember these two middle fingers had trade strings, so we're going to hold that position. Yeah, and you can mess around with it. Like, this is actually kind of a cool chord. You could use it. This is like an E minor major 7, something like that. All right, so now what we're going to do, our index finger is going to come out back to 6. So make sure you're holding that there. Don't let go, by the way. I know sometimes you feel like you really got to let go. All right, don't. Try your best. If your hand is really cramping up, then fine, go ahead. But if otherwise, you really just want to hold this position the entire time and not let go. All right, so we're getting close here. So remember to keep working on those sweep picks. Remember, if it's not cleared up, like if the notes are not ringing out properly, don't worry about it too much. Just know that the process is going to fix it. So now we're going to bring the pinky up to 11 again. Okay. And now this is actually a nice sounding chord. All right. So now we've been holding these. At this point, your hand should be pretty cramping right now. So if you really feel like you have to, you can go ahead and let go for a few seconds, but I want you to make sure to get back into this position. If you're one of those people who are a glutton for pain, then you can push through this and suffer the whole way, because the benefits of this exercise is incredible. All right, so just keep it up. All right, we only have a few more seconds of this one. All right. So just remember, if it's not ringing out properly, don't worry about it. Let the process of doing this repetitively over time clean it up. All right, let's bring these two fingers back down to their original fret. So 7 and 10 again. Now what we're going to do, these two end fingers are going to trade strings. So your pinky's going to come up to the A, and your index finger is going to drop down to B. So now we have this nice shape here, okay? I kind of like this chord. I mean, this is definitely not something you'll hear in pop music, but maybe I'll write a pop song using this chord because it does sound pretty cool. And it'll be a nice challenge, right? Write a pop song using this very dark, haunting sounding chord. That'd be cool. All right, so we've been holding this for a while. If you feel like your hand's cramping up again, you can take a little bit of a rest, but make sure don't do it for more than 15 seconds, okay? So now what we're gonna do, our index finger is gonna drop down to 6. Now I got even more haunting sounding, right? All right, so we're holding this down. And now if this is too much for you, if reaching down to that 6th fret is too much, then don't do it. You know, we don't want to go past what your real limits are either, okay? If something is just too far ahead, then it's just not possible. Don't worry about it too much, okay? So we're gonna hold this down for a few more seconds. Otherwise, you know, like some people, they can handle this kind of pain in their hand, and some people can't. It's okay. Just remember, the more you do this and the more you go over this, the easier it's going to get to do, and the better the notes are going to sound. over time, okay? Now, if you can't do this, if this is just like beyond you, right? Don't worry about it. I mean, like if you can jog around the block a couple times, right? But you can't run a marathon, don't run a marathon. It's the same idea. So let's bring this guy up to 11. Now we have a nice stretch going on here. And it has that real creepy sound now. And I could not tell you the name of this chord. I'd have to, let's see if I could piece it together maybe. No idea. It's some kind of diminished chord, that's for sure. But I don't know what kind of chord it is. And it's really not about playability, right? Like the shapes that we're doing isn't for really like use in music, right? Like of course you can always use them, but it's really just to get the benefits of the stretch. Okay, so now these two fingers are going to return back to their frets, okay? And now we're going to have the two middle fingers trade strings again, okay? So now we're in this position where it's the A string is 10th fret, the middle finger is on the 8th fret, ring finger is on 9, and index finger is on 7. Okay, so I know for a lot of people, this one is a really tough stretch on its own. So if you've made it this far without letting go, you are the man or the woman. I don't know, depends on who you are. All right, so we got this going on. We're holding this down, and we only got a few more seconds of this, believe it or not, because we're gonna actually, stretch this one out too. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, like we did before, our index finger is going to drop down to 6 again. So we're back at 6. Okay, so we're going to hold that down. Now this is probably the most uncomfortable position, okay, that we've gone into so far, but the next one's going to be even worse. At this point, I'm sure you figured out where we're going next, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this pinky up to 11. That's right. So we're going to hold that position, okay? Make sure you're holding it down, all right? If you really got to let go, if it's like just getting overbearing, then let it go for a moment. Relax your hand for about 15 seconds and then hop back on, okay? You don't want to take too much time off of this, because the more condensed we make the exercise, the better the benefits are going to be. All right, so we want to keep it going as much as we can. All right, so now at this point, your hand should be pretty cramped up, and you should be like ready to just let this whole thing go and be done with it. But go ahead and just play the notes again, and just see how nice they're ringing out. If it sounds like, then don't worry about it for now. Just know that you do want them to sound clean, but it's not a top priority at the moment. And every single day that you do this, it should sound a little bit better, a little bit better. All right, so go ahead and now just let go. Whew, like that. All right, now at this point, you should start feeling some blood flowing into your hands. All right, so give yourself a minute. Let your hand relax. Let the blood flow into your hand, okay? And, you know, if you want to like shake your hand, that's fine. I don't know if that really matters too much. But what I recommend doing after that is playing some very simple chords, and strumming them. And then maybe going through a scale or two, right? You know. All right, that was a little sloppy, so you can see I'm not done warming up, but that is a good way to start your day with your warm-ups, okay? It's just by doing that little hand stretch, and that covers a lot of stuff that you're gonna do on a day-to-day basis when it comes to playing guitar. You know, most of the stuff that you're gonna do on guitar, right? If you're playing bar chords, if you're up to that, then yeah, it's gonna help out with that a lot, because it's gonna make it a lot more comfortable to play bar chords, playing these chords, or if you're doing something like, So it'll make it a lot easier to do stuff like that. And many other things that might have been a little bit more difficult to do is going to be a lot easier. All right. So that's it for today's warm up. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. And thanks for watching.